something pretty different over here in the... What are we doing today, Scotty? We'll look at it.
Yeah, I think it was when
All right, so I apologize for the lack of uploading. We're gonna skip forward here in this video. I know I kind of, with this video coming out, I kind of left you guys hanging. We got really busy leading up to sick week, so whenever you're watching this video, the wiring's done. And I'm not gonna. I'm going through the video trying to make sure I don't show you guys too much of the wiring, because I do want to put that in its own separate video, considering we're back from sick week now. So yeah, that's the reason for us skipping forward. So just try to enjoy the rest of the video. What's up, guys? This is the night before we're supposed to be leaving for sick week. We're pretty much wrapped up. We're gonna have Steve log on and start the car up. As you guys saw the other night, we got it fired, but we only ran it for like 40 seconds. We might even do a two-step test real quick, and then we'll be loading it up on the trailer. So yeah, got anything to say, Billy?
nothing at all.
Ethan?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Oh, so we had a little bit of a scare. We're still not, like, I guess, out of the clear. If you pay close attention to whenever we put the car on the two-step, you'll see like some sparks coming out. If you want to rewind it and look, and you're having trouble seeing it, they're just outside of like the flame front, basically. So you'll see the fireball and you'll see the sparks around that. We have a couple theories. We were obviously highly concerned initially, like, are we burning straps off of plugs or something like that? We pulled the plugs, they look good. Then we were like, well, what's the exhaust wheel on the turbo look like? It's good. We talked to Steve, and Steve, you know, we reminded him that it was a fresh engine, basically. Like, it's got no more than 2 hours of idle time, literally just idle time on it. And Steve, what was that?
I don't even think it has that much on.
Probably not. But Steve, you know, after he heard that, he's like, well, it could be a multitude of things. You know, we talked about maybe it was the rings just breaking in, I guess, or assembly lube or stuff like that, oil getting past the rings and igniting late. But everything looked good whenever we pulled the plugs. The exhaust wheel looks good. Unfortunately, because it's a pushrod V8 that's not a Hemi, a bore scope doesn't do a whole lot of good. Well, at least our bore scope doesn't. We don't have a nice bore scope, so we can't really look into the cylinder. But all the plugs looked fine, so we're just gonna chalk it up as part of the break-in process. So, but as you saw, everything went good. So we're leaving at some point tomorrow. We don't know when. We have to leave here. Right now it's, what is Monday night? Monday night.
We gotta leave Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. at the latest.
At the latest. So if we leave Wednesday morning at 3 a.m., it'll put us pulling into Orlando Speed World at 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, maybe 5 in the afternoon. So obviously the goal isn't to just show up and then not be on any sleep and race, but we'll see how everything pans out. The trailer and truck are out front. I gotta finish the trailer wiring and wiring in the headsets, and that's pretty much it for wiring. The wiring's done after that. So yeah, stay tuned. Next time you'll see us will probably be either loading up on the trailer or on the road. Alright, we're on the road.
Long way to go.
Yeah, we've been on the road for half an hour now. For some reason, it seems like the old Ram's struggling.
Riding in sixth gear at 70-something mile an hour.
Yeah. Ethan's in the back seat. Oh, shit. Plugged in. Ethan's in the back seat trying to get some sleep. Dude's sick. We're all falling apart, but hopefully it's going to all come together here soon. What a beautiful sight. All right, let her eat. Sounds good. Hey, we can leave this here, and I can put the truck there. This is in the sun, so hey, this sounds good. It's been a journey. We washed the car off. I think they just sprayed it while I was sleeping. The truck took a beating. That could have been bad. Idiot. Could have been real bad. You gotta disassemble the fucking clutch if you do that. Really? Yeah. If you completely unthread it. It's gonna take me learning some fucking finesse. Just got the window now installed, and Billy just repacked the chute. Yeah. Take a break. Oh, shit. I was practicing how I'm going to shift. We pulled the seat cover out to get me sitting a little bit lower. Obviously, as you saw, we changed the base pressure on the clutch. I can't remember. I don't know what we did. I think we took some out of it. Now, whenever you pull that out, I'm assuming you want to make sure you don't fucking accidentally.
Yeah, it might not have been a terrible idea to go the other way. We might repack it again tomorrow before you go. Just get another wrap.
Okay. I was like, I think you were just being a smart ass.
Yeah, and you can probably get it neater and tighter.
Well, if you can wait till I make an 8th and I can pull it on an 8th and
that's fine.
then, like the way it sits and just see how it does.
See if it does okay.
Yeah. I'm so fucking scared. Holy shit. So I'm sitting here editing the video, and I'm obviously to the point where we make our first pass in the car. So I just wanted to preface this and put this out there before you guys judge me too hard. I understand I was on the limiter a lot, and it was pretty obvious something wasn't right. More so obvious that we were driving through the clutch. Keep in mind, I've never driven this car. I've never driven a rear-wheel drive car. That doing the burnout was my first time doing a burnout in a rear-wheel drive car. Everything was very new to me, and I was extremely nervous. And just sitting in the garage messing around with the shifter, I noticed that I felt like it would be pretty easy to money shift it back into first gear on the 2-3 shift. Just at least, compared to what I'm used to in my Honda. So that was a great concern for me. This was our first time clutchless shifting the car. So I was like ridiculously scared that I was going to money shift the car. And the problem with money shifting, well, it gets its name money shifting from the fact that it usually costs you a lot of money if you do this. So that was all I could think about, was do not money shift the car. Keep the car straight, keep it off the wall, like nothing crazy, just shift the car, get it down the track. So, I mean, looking back, as soon as I watched this video back that day, I was like, oh my God, dude, let out. What are you doing? And I didn't even let out. I mean, obviously I wouldn't have rode the limiter all the way down the track. I mean, I don't think I would have. But I told Billy before I made the pass, because it was my first licensing pass, I told him we're going to the 330 for the licensing pass, and I told Billy, I was like, no matter what, like where I wind up, when I'm at the 330, I want to make sure the car I can get into third gear. So that was what I did. Is I did my 1-2 shift, and then it was on the limiter, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I let it sit on the limiter for half a second or whatever, and then shoved it into third, and then the noise developed afterwards. So actually, if you pay close attention, and I'm not trying to kind of distract from the fact that I just was very abusive to the motor, because it's not good for the motor what I did. If you pay attention, you can kind of hear that noise as right after the burnout box, especially in the in-car footage. Just really pay attention. Something sounds off. It's very subtle, and I definitely didn't hear it with a helmet on. And even if it would have been louder, I might not have heard it, just because how in my head I was just, like I said, focused on shifting. So, yep.
What the fuck was that? Something don't sound right.
All right, so we're at an Advanced Auto somewhere in Orlando. We just left Orlando Speed World. We had a shit day of $350 testing. Think we might have collapsed the lifter. We're thinking about ordering a set of lifters, and we decided on the way to Gainesville, we're gonna pull over, drain the oil so we can get an idea of, okay, it's not something else, so we can order the lifters and know that it's worth pulling the cylinder heads off and, paying for the new lifters. That's what we're doing right now. So you guys will hear us mention the lifters a lot, and really the reason we're mentioning the lifters a lot, what's up, dude? Really the reason we were mentioning the lifters so much is because there was a group of dudes at the track. They walked over and listened to the motor, and they were pretty adamant that, they were like, readjust the valves. And if once that didn't do it, we readjusted the valves like 3 times, and that didn't change the noise. They were like, well, you probably collapsed the lifter from being on the limiter like that. So that's, you'll hear us talk about lifters a bunch, and that, going down that rabbit trail. That's why. I don't know anything about push rod V8s, but whenever the car shut down, the reason I was so speechless whenever I shut the car down and was rolling off the track was because I thought it sounded like bottom end noise. It reminded me of whenever my K-Series been a rod, and that's the only other time I've ever been in person to hear bottom end noise. But that's why I was so speechless. I kind of thought it was bottom end noise, and that same moment the car didn't want to crank, and that was because of the starter. We had a starter and flywheel engagement issue. I think from slipping the clutch so much, it expanded the aluminum flywheel and was just causing some engagement problems. We fixed that, and then began to figure out whether or not our lifters were adjusted properly. So, how's it look?
I mean,
Hard to say yet.
yeah, it's hard to say.
Anything on the plug?
I'm holding it under the oil stream in case anything comes out.
Oh, I got you. That's smart. Look at you.
Pretty smart guy. At this point, I doubt anything. I doubt anything else is coming out.
You want some paper towels?
Yeah. Paper towels.
And we're gonna go get pizza, but that fucking pizza place is closed.
I mean, there's...
Looks like break-in stuff.
Yeah. I'd say so for the most part. That's kind of a sliver of something.
Is that a... Oh, I thought that was something around. I was like, is that a needle bearing like they were talking about?
No, definitely no needle bearings. It looks better than the fucking oil changes on the last build.
Yeah.
There's definitely a couple little slivers.
Like that.
I don't know, man.
Wipe it off.
Yeah, I was gonna spray it with some brake clean.
I might show this shit better. Yeah, one more larger chunk.
Everything's pretty, like, fine.
Okay. No more of that what we had in the garage.
No.
It's powder,
Yeah.
which I think is just the break-in.
I feel like
shit.
most of this is normal break-in.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna get some food and
We got one more plug,
Yeah, we got the front drain plug.
which I think the front's what we had that piece on
okay.
last time.
Okay. Never mind. How you feeling, Ethan?
Better.
All right. We made it to Gainesville. We made it to our huge, big, beautiful hotel. We're fucking smoking beers and drinking cigarettes, and we've got an idea. It might be a long shot. One, run a thicker oil. I can't remember if I said it earlier whenever I was recording. The guy who makes, what's Johnson? It's the Johnson Short Travel.
I mean, I don't know if it was him directly, but someone with Johnson recommended.
Okay.
Based on the oil temp, the oil might be too thin for these lifters. So.
Yeah. So we're going to put a thicker oil in it, see if maybe that helps our problem. They didn't necessarily say it's going to fix the problem. They said it might have been a contributing factor to causing our problem. So we're going to do that. And we also think maybe it could be an exhaust leak, because it sounds a lot like, we had this thought at dinner, it sounds a lot like whenever we had the car on the dyno and blew the exhaust manifold gasket out. So we're going to start it up and try and feel for exhaust leaks. I'll show you what Ethan's doing.
About to go to bed.
Sick as a dog. You don't look sick. Yeah, we'll see. So this is me on my 9-hour round trip deep into the Panhandle, actually west of Panama City, to get the lifters. We met a cool friend while I was out there too. He actually met us back up at Gainesville. So as you can see, or as you're about to see, the 9-hour trip to Panama City was a waste. And it's not the lifters. We didn't even tear the heads off, but Billy pulled the intake. And one of the guys we met through, I think, the Stick Shift Nation page, he's another small block Ford guy. He came and took a look, and he said he didn't think it was lifters because none of the lifters looked collapsed. And he thought, maybe bottom end or in the transmission or clutch, flywheel. So when I got back that night, Billy had put everything back together, and he tried a couple things. Bill Armstrong mentioned adjusting the hydraulic lifters as if they were solid. That way, if one of them was collapsed, there's no option for them to, they're all collapsed, right? That's kind of how that works. Yeah. That didn't work. We tried everything besides really tearing the motor has to come out of the car. That's something we figured out too whenever we got back. Me and Ethan experimented with trying to get the oil pan off with the motor in the car, and it's simply not going to happen. We had an engine cradle and had the motor lifted up a couple inches, and we could have lifted it higher, but I did not.
Trans makes it even harder.
Yeah. We weren't going to clear the bell housing. It wasn't going to work. So, without pulling the motor out of the car in the hotel parking lot, we wouldn't have been able to do a whole lot more. And if we would have pulled the motor out in the hotel parking lot, we would have came to the same conclusion. Maybe we could have tried to source a rod. I know Billy probably would have been like, fuck this. And I mean, I would have been like, the motor's already out, dude. Let's just fucking throw a rod in there. We could have went to a Napa or some shit and bought a bearing, a new rod bearing, and fucking sent it. That's what I would have done. But that was a long shot. We were running out of time before the event actually started. So we called it there. We cleaned up our mess in the hotel parking lot, loaded the car up, and we decided to follow along for a little bit. We met up with our friends from Alabama that we met last year at Sick Week and hung out in the hotels with them guys, watched a little bit of racing. And we followed along from Gainesville to South Georgia and then to Bradenton. And after spending the night in Bradenton, we headed home. So, super sad. Like I was talking to my dad the other night, this is the most disappointing thing I've ever been through in my life. Like, me, Billy, and Ethan all worked so freaking hard. And the car was broken after one pass. Then 3 days, 4 days before the event actually started. So, so much money, time, and effort went into this, and it just did not pan out. You know, everything happens for a reason. I believe that, but it's a tough pill to swallow. It's a hard thing to say and, you know, say with a smile on your face after something like this. But whenever I get done yapping, you'll see us tearing into the motor a little bit and figuring out some answers. So, yeah.
Be bad. Because the piston definitely could have fucking slapped the cylinder head. The head's got to come off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fuck.
That
Which-
much. I mean, that, fuck that.
So we're back from sick week, obviously, and we got the motor out of the car. And yeah, that's probably where our noise was coming from.
That's why you pay professionals to do this kind of shit.
I don't think so.
No.
Can you get that coolant before it runs onto them shocks? Here. Fucking.
I can move the shocks. Should fucking drain the block.
Man, when we were spinning it over, I'm like, everything looks good. The first thing I was looking for was heat marks. You know? If anything got hot like last time.
And if I had to guess, that's probably cylinder 3.
Yes, I think it is. No. No, it's on the other side.
What the fuck?
What if that journal and everything's fine? And we could have just retorqued it, dude.
Maybe we just retorque it and put it back in and pretend we didn't see any of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I would thought you were full of shit when you were talking about that. About it being that. I'm like, no way. So, is the reason you said that because you were thinking back and you're like, man, I feel like I forgot to torque one?
No. I did not feel like I forgot to torque
Okay.
one. But if you remember, I was like, hey, I want you or Ethan one out here just to double check me.
Yeah.
And you guys were doing something, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get all these fucking torqued down. I'm not trying to pass the buck here, but...
It's mine and Ethan's fault.
A lifter probably would have been a lot cool.
I'll tell you what, if that cap comes off and the crank is unscathed,
This fucking bolt is fucked.
if that cap comes off and that crank is unscathed, we won the fucking lottery today. There's the bearing.
Started to spin.
Started to spin.
I think he's... Oh, no, that bolt came out.
Dude.
The crankshaft
It's
looks
fucking good.
Now we need to fucking put this shit back together
Yeah.
enough to fucking... Dude. It's probably going to be... As long as everything else is good, as simple as a fucking new rod.
Yeah. Do you not want to pull the... We can sink the... Can't you sink the piston all the way up? Like, sink it all the way to top dead center, or to the top of the stroke, and then still rotate the motor?
Maybe?
Because I'd like to get those bearings off of there and wipe that journal down real quick.
I just want... I want that to be fucking held together. And...
How deformed... Does the cap look deformed?
The bolts definitely are.
Yeah.
But I mean, all the fucking... This looks like it was freshly honed still. God damn, bro. I'm sorry, man.
You piece of shit.
You ain't gotta tell me. I can't even fucking think straight right now.
I thought you were crazy for thinking that. I told Billy the first time he told me the theory of like if he forgot to torque a rod bolt and maybe it was backing out, like just one rod bolt, I was like, dude, that's gonna break the rod bolt really quick, and then the other rod bolt's gonna go really quick, and the fact that happened in the middle of a pass, started showing its face in the middle of a pass and didn't become a catastrophic failure is beyond me. All right, guys, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Before I end the video, I wanted to give thanks to a handful of people. Like I said, we met up with our friends, Dana and Nancy and Jeff from Alabama. We met them last year on Sick Week. Thank you to those guys. They tried their best to keep our spirits up. We were basically at an all-time low. It was a lot of ups and downs. I mean, we were trying to have fun and just make the best of it, but we were, it's tough watching everybody else do what you work so hard to show up and do yourself. So we're not much for being spectators, but they were super welcoming. They hung out with us pretty much every night. So thanks to those guys. And Jay from RS Garage, he's a busy man. He's very popular because he knows what he's doing and everybody knows who he is. But he found time in his day to make a phone call and kind of offer some advice. And also he called us the other day to see, for an update as to what the problem was. So huge thanks to Jay. Matt Cruz, our new friend, we met in Panama City, who once again met us in Gainesville after that. He's the guy who sold us the lifters. Super cool dude. I'm sure we'll run into him again at some point. And then Zach from Zach Smith Racing, the guy who originally built the motor the first time. He offered us advice too. He even made a joke about just putting our headsets on and turning some music on, which thank God we didn't do that. And then I believe it was Nick Larson from Streetcar Shenanigans who came over and offered some advice and even took a phone call from us. We were reaching just for any help we could, just to hopefully weasel our way out of being done with Sick Week. So thanks to all those guys, and thanks to you guys for making it this far. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later.